Looks like our new friend's already abstracted.
Well, I guess we're not all cut out for it.
I don't even remember her name, honestly.
Hello everyone. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. If you are returning, surprise? Yeah, this is a bit different than normal, but the reason that I named my channel what I did is so that I could post about any of my interests. And as it turns out, I do enjoy things besides K-pop. Don't worry, I'm not going to stop making those sorts of videos. I just might post about other things too. I'm assuming anyone who clicked on this video is a fan of the amazing digital circus. But if you're not and you just wanted to hear my beautiful voice, first of all...
Shut up!
And second of all, get out.
Oh, thank God.
I'm kidding, but seriously, I'm going to be talking about details of this show under the assumption that you've seen it, including spoilers. If you haven't watched it, go do that. It's amazing. Then you can come back here, if you want. Please. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I think abstraction works. I wanted to get this out before the finale, not because I'm afraid I'll be proven wrong, but because if it does spell out how abstraction works, which I honestly don't think it needs to, the fact that I called it will be on record. I'm petty like that.
I can't believe I was right!
Considering that up until episode 8, it was the main threat against the characters, we don't really know all that much about what abstraction is or how it works. But as I just said, I don't really think we need a detailed explanation. I think that Gooseworks and the creative team at Glitch have given us all the pieces we need to put together exactly what happens when someone abstracts and why. So what do we know? In episode 1, Ragatha describes abstraction as something really terrible that can happen when you reach your breaking point.
What is that? It might be that terrible thing I was talking about earlier, when you reach your breaking point?
It is implied that the first abstraction occurred because Kane altered Scratch's mind in a way that qualified as more than a temporary modifier.
I may have the ability to add temporary modifiers to make adventures more interesting, but that's it! If I did anything more, trust me, it would not end well.
Scratch. The first abstraction.
Hey! I didn't say anything like that!
This combined with how Jax behaves in that episode made many people in the fandom start to question if all the abstractions are a result of Kane messing around with the characters' heads too much. I don't think that's the case though. Kane seems to actively dislike the fact that the characters abstract.
They'd rather abstract than go on your adventures.
That can't be true. I do everything for them.
I do think he caused scratches, but after realizing what would happen, he didn't do it again. Let me explain. In episode 8, Kane has this line.
I made a program that creates a body perfectly encapsulating their mind files, and they hate those too!
Now, this line has sparked tons of debate about how the characters exist inside the circus. Are they physically zapped in and digitized, or are their brains scanned and our characters are just left behind avatars? For this theory, neither of those options matter. What does matter is that their minds are files, computer files. Regardless of how it happened or whether it can be undone, the characters in the game right now are made out of code. And as we know, code can be altered. This is likely how Kane adds his temporary modifiers. He just sticks on an extra line or two of code, and it alters the character's entire program just slightly, enough that they literally can't behave otherwise.
Give me a whiskey sour, but hold the egg white, since I'm a vegan. What? I hate this! How is this even possible? I thought Kane couldn't...
But not enough that he can't undo it later.
I'm not a vegan anymore.
Oh, hey! Wait, what are you...
In Scratch's case, I don't want to get too speculative, but it's possible that Kane thought he knew too much about the game and didn't feel like he had a good enough control. After all, he doesn't seem to like Kinger knowing as much as he does.
He's got a lot of wisdom buried in there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, when he uses it responsibly.
What?
And Kinger didn't even understand everything that Scratch did to make Kane.
His ideas were often so bizarre and abstract that the rest of the team had no idea how to work in his language.
Feeling a bit undermined, Kane decided to just fix that part of Scratch he didn't like, and ended up accidentally abstracting him. But the important part is how, because I don't think abstraction is simply what happens when too much of a player's code gets altered. I think it's what happens when it gets deleted. That's why instead of their shape being altered to match their new mind files, they lose it entirely. The program Kane made no longer has enough data to perfectly encapsulate anything. So Kane deleted too much of Scratch's memory or abilities or whatever, and the guy abstracted. Then Kane probably freaked out and never did it again. He doesn't want to lose his players.
Golly, we're running out of humans here. Now don't you go abstracting on me too!
So he restricts himself to smaller alterations. No more straight up deleting stuff. But then, how did the others abstract? This is where Conjuring comes into play. Conjuring is described in the show as the characters exerting control over the digital world.
We all technically have the ability to conjure, just like Kane. It just comes naturally to him, but requires a lot more skill and concentration for us.
They use their imagination, and with enough concentration, they can make whatever they want happen.
It's a butterfly. It can restore your health.
Did Kane mention that?
Oh, nah. I made it up.
What?
Because Conjuring alters the game itself, it means that the characters are subconsciously altering the code within the game when they conjure. And it also seems to be something that can happen without the characters consciously thinking about it. Jax's explanation of cartoon logic.
I know you hate it here. Everyone does. But the silver lining is you can pretty much do whatever you want. Like, look at the way you're aiming that gun. Too realistic. Just let loose.
And things just happening because the characters think it's possible, and only if the characters think it's possible, sounds a lot like Conjuring to me. One could argue that Pomni, so desperate to find an exit in episode 1, just coincidentally running into Kane's secret exit door, not once, but twice, when the others had never even seen it.
Wait. Was that an exit door I saw out there? Is that a way to leave?
What exit? If there was a way to leave, I'm pretty sure we'd have all left by now.
Happened because she subconsciously conjured the door. It seems that the concentration here has less to do with effort and more to do with focus. In other words, you don't have to think, I'm going to conjure a banana. You just have to really want a banana, and one will appear. And as I've already established, the characters themselves are made of code. So what do you think would happen if one of them just really wanted to not exist anymore? Yep, I believe that abstraction is what happens when a character subconsciously starts deleting their own code. Let's go back to Ragatha's episode 1 explanation. She says that abstraction happens after you drive yourself crazy chasing an unattainable goal and you start to question the point of it all and why you're even alive.
And constantly chasing an unattainable goal will start driving you a bit crazy. And eventually you get to asking what the point of anything is, and you completely lose sight of who you are and why you're even alive, and when you reach your breaking point, something really terrible can happen.
Feelings of being trapped and hopeless, feeling like you have no reason to live, are all things that point toward potential suicidal behavior. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention states that warning signs also include withdrawal from activities.
Are you supposed to be causing trouble for everyone?
Isolation, sleeping too much or too little.
Everyone, I'm going to pitch to you some future adventure ideas, and I'm going to ask you to give me your honest opinions on them.
I was gonna sleep.
Aggression, depression,
Hey, you alright?
I'm great.
anxiety, loss of interest,
Wait, don't you want to come with us? This could be our one chance to finally leave all this behind.
Sure, why not?
irritability,
We'll need to steal the key from Kane, and we'll also need administrator privileges. I believe you're good at obtaining keys?
Okay. You know what's gonna happen when we do all this? Kane's gonna pop out and say, "Congratulations on beating the Escape the Circus adventure," and everything's gonna go back to the way it always was.
shame,
God, you look stupid.
and anger.
Have you ever thought that this might be what causes people to abstract in the first place?
Oh my God! Are you seriously gonna blame me for something that everybody else did too? You didn't even know him! You don't even know what people are like before they abstract. They are not pleasant to be around. Like at all! You...
These are all things we see from the characters in the show before they abstract or almost abstract. Frankly, it makes a bit too much sense. Abstraction has always been viewed as a sort of giving up.
Man, I can't believe Kaufmo just gave up like that.
But if I am correct in the mechanics of how it works, it means that this isn't something that happens to the characters once they've completely broken, but rather something they do to themselves. This theory would even explain why Jack sees Ribbit and Kaufmo on his way to abstracting, because he's conjuring images of the people he wants to see without even realizing it. But for better or worse, the characters are still limited by their nature. If the characters' minds are code, then once they delete too much of it, they lose the wherewithal to even continue the process. Cain just blipped completely out of existence because he was deleted by someone else. But when you're deleting yourself, eventually, after removing the parts that made you distinct, that make you yourself, you no longer have the part that wanted to disappear in the first place. So you just stop. Not really a person anymore, just a mess of leftover code, bits and pieces, that might retain the slightest impression of who you once were, but nothing else. You're not dead, you'll never be dead, but you aren't you anymore. You're just the remnants. In computer science, abstraction is a term used when considering only the essential information needed and leaving out the rest. In the digital circus, it appears that abstraction is what happens when a character attempts to remove all their personal code, leaving only the absolute bare bones behind. If you're still here, thank you for watching this video. Honestly, I could have gone on a lot longer about this stuff, like how the pop-ups when Kinger's altering Kane's code could be Kane's version of abstraction, i.e. Kane subconsciously wanting Kinger to unmake him entirely. It has to be created! Or stuff about how the finale will go down. But honestly, this video is already longer than I intended it to be, and I don't feel near as confident in that stuff as I do in the rest of the theory, so I'll just leave it be. Honestly, part of me wants all this confirmed in episode 9, and part of me thinks it's better left not spelled out. Like I said before, I don't think it needs to be explicitly stated. Gooseworks has done such a great job with the world building that I think it's okay to just leave the audience to put 2 and 2 together themselves. Let us all work on our media literacy and such. Anyways, thanks again for watching. Let me know if you agree or not, but be nice about it. Like, comment, subscribe, share. You know the drill. Jesus loves you. Have a great day.